got to be for the rest of the team. It's just that first initial stun that might let XN have a pretty free game on the Storm Spirit. And like most mid laners, you know, you kind of have to specialize in a couple of the spirits. I think XN is best on the Ember, but he's also a pretty great Storm Spirit player as well, so don't just discount him. And Toha rounding up the lineup here, position 5 on the Shadow Demon. We've got some great rotation potential as well to the mid lane. If you get both supports to rotate around the 6-minute mark for Trident Clan, quick disruption into the arrow setup is usually pretty free as long as you've practiced it once or twice with the boys. So keep that in mind, because we can also use disruption for the setup.
That's very true. You have a lot of early kill potential in that sense, which maybe it's also the idea behind the Tiny, right? He's not a hero that can be ganked that easily due to his high HP pool until Lifestealer can join the ganks as the armlet build. So at least in that sense, Tiny might be a safer hero to be running in the mid lane in that sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Chosen One, he has trouble with micro. I've seen some great guides that can teach you about that.
Play a little bit of StarCraft, get that one figured out for himself.
Can you imagine? Like, guys, sorry, quick StarCraft match.
Quick StarCraft. Sorry, I'm Zerg rushing. I'm Zerg rushing. Don't worry.
It'll be quick. I actually did used to do that because I think the micro in StarCraft is very different. But with Warcraft 3, where the micro is much more similar to Dota, I used to play like 1 or 2 matches of Warcraft 3 before I used to play Dota, and I would still lose, but you know, it felt good.
Yeah, you got warmed up. It was a proper warm up here.
I didn't
just
lose
trying to scroll through chat.
Up, right?
In case any of y'all speak, I believe this is Russian from Trident Clan. The majority of the players in our second season here of the Eastern Europe lower division are from Russia. So it's a safe bet. I believe Trident Clan are from Russia as Soul Eater. Sorry, I know for a fact that Antoha is.
He said TP Butut. Someone can translate that.
Yeah,
we are a multicultural place here on this channel, but we're also very ignorant and wish we could speak it.
Yeah.
we appreciate though the diversity. We just can't bask in it.
Yeah, it's real unfortunate. You know, that's the thing. You know, the more languages you learn.
What?
Munkushi mental issue.
I don't know if that's like a flame or if it's just mistranslation. That is hilarious. I love the reasons they give, because this is the region where the admins speak the most as well. Like they're really on point. Shout out to new official, and they always give the craziest reasons whenever they explain themselves.
I mean, he's got mental issue. He's got to be ready to go. As there we are. We
He's
get
done
the G's
crying.
and
He's good.
He's like, I don't want to play Lifestealer anymore. Wow. There they go. There's the hearts on the map, and everything's going to be fine. Don't worry. You've got Antoha here to babysit you in the lane, and everything else is going to be fine. Don't you worry a bit.
I mean, our prophet did say that Antoha was going through a reckless phase right now of crazy picks, so maybe that's the idea. Maybe he's going against his carry's wishes. Who knows? Tarot never lies. Well,
at some stage, unfortunately, Munkushi's going to have the last laugh, right? Because you cannot disrupt a magic immune target, even if it's an ally. So, you know, if Munkushi just, no, you're not saving me. I want to die to the right-click damage from the PA. That disruption's not going to be able to do much for him.
I see you're an experienced feeder. You really do know how to prevent saves. Good job.
Well, what nice can teaching. I say is I've been in the Toha's shoes there, where they pop BKB when I'm trying to save them, and then they just eat an Abyssal Blade, and I go, well, we tried. There's the setup, arrow, and Soul Eater, perfectly executed here. All 5 heroes push the attack. Sorry for Lodine. The LSA connects onto 3, but it ain't enough. Soul Eater, first blood there, onto the Marana, just making sure that they can secure the kill.
Hellscream there for a second. It's like, am I playing Tidehunter? Or is Tidehunter an enemy team? Because that was pretty much a ravage. What a light strike array, honestly. Well done. However, that comp was really strong early. We did speak about how good the ganking potential is. I did mention it is, in my opinion, not as strong, not as easy to execute as the Bane combo, but especially in the early levels, I think it's equivalent, if not better, because you get the body block of the illusions afterwards. It's just really powerful. It's really nice to see. Well, Aincrad does not eat the arrow. It's a bit off the mark. In fact, he steals the rune. Complete impunity for him.
Yeah, nice move by him, making sure that he is able to pull just about even with his team. Otherwise, it would have been 3 runes going the way of Trident Clan earlier on. And Aincrad, I mean, at the end of the day, he just wants his bottle ASAP. He knows this lane versus Storm, the early levels aren't going to be super fun, especially level 3 and 4 for Storm Spirit do present a lot of kill potential. Aincrad, though, he can always strike back as soon as he got plenty of points in the Abbot toss, because, of course, that damage multiplies. And gets an insane amount of kill potential if XN is not careful with his positioning.
That's very true. The Storm Spirit usually doesn't do bad against Tiny because I think he's one of the ranged heroes in the mid lane with the best stats, but that did get nerfed considerably last patch, right? So his armor and HP is still nice, his base attack is not that great anymore, and he has to go for more null talisman. And the bottle, of course, not as effective as to a Tiny, who has much more damage for the mana cost usually.
Yeah.
But Storm has always been considered not a counter, but like a soft counter or even a decent hero every time they play against melee, because nature of Static Remnant, right? Very powerful ability. 120 damage at level 1 is kind of ridiculous, and the Overload also helps you last hit against them.
Yeah, plus, of course, Tiny, a bit of an exception here, kind of to a smaller degree, Kunkka, because they have the cleave, but you can always pull them in. If you want to go for the kind of aggressive build, take the Vortex at 3, sometimes you see it at 4, but either way, like 1-1-2 at level 4 is pretty normal for Storm, and it's brutal to play against as a melee mid laner, because it's like 130 mana for the Storm Spirit, and it's like a third of your HP pool. It's so bad to play against.
Yeah, I don't find that against a Tiny that combo is that effective because he can usually tank a fair amount of magic damage. I think you're actually better off going for the Overload build, but I wouldn't mind either of them, right? It really depends on the player preference and how aggressive he wants to play. Up top, Heritage, he almost killed him. Fraser. This is the typical thing where you're a Tide and you're like, I don't really care if I have a good or bad lane, I'm gonna just use Gush and then force the enemy team out. Level 1 Tide, so dangerous, especially with a nice decent 4, which in this case Mirana can harass pretty well, takes advantage of the Gush. But of course a PA, even if you push out a lane, Stifling Dagger, make sure that she always stays.
Yeah, exactly. There's lots of, I'm sure everyone who's played Tide before in this matchup, pretty common matchup, knows this is probably just about the freest early game, although they're going to try and turn it here, actually, with the Ink Swell into now the Stroke of Fate, short duration arrow onto the PA, but that's going to be not enough, actually, as Kiritich and Lodine are still going to be able to get the kill onto Frazier. Not unkillable here, and again, the early mana cost addition to Gush now is a bit more punishing to go for this aggressive style of build. I think yesterday we saw a Tad Hunter actually max Kraken Shell first.
Yes, it's true. And in some cases, I think it's very justified, when especially because the Kraken Shell also allows you to farm Ancients quite effectively or take stacks without really putting yourself in danger. So if you see your lane not going immediately your way, and against the Grimstroke and PA, the lane is quite strong, right? It's not a combo that we see as much these days, but the early kill potential is quite nice. Once the Tide has enough points for Kraken Shell, though, we should be fine, or enough points in Anchor Smash to also take away the damage from PA. Bottom lane, we're also seeing Lifesteal doing fine, but like I mentioned, Legion and Lina, also quite a nice little lane. Difficult to completely beat them out, but the power spike for this lane goes with the Shadow Demon level 3. Oh, another kill there for the PA. Impressive.
Yeah, onto the PA this time around, actually. Yeah, Lodine might be next. Almost gets body blocked by the creep. Luckily, he was right in the right place, right time there, and the creeper actually going to block Frazier and Solidaire from going for any further. So quick kill there onto the PA. That's going to be the second point in Anchor Smash now, and we are going to be going for an Urn of Shadows for Frazier. So they're really just looking to dominate this lane and get the ball rolling early on the Tide Hunter.
No, bottom lane, they did almost take down the Shadow Demon there with the Light Strike Array, but Lina decided to play a bit more defensively here. Mid is going really well for the Storm, by the way.
Yeah, I like this from Hellscream, actually. He decided to put the second point into Fiery Soul, and this is going to be because they actually increased the duration of Fiery Soul by 2 seconds. So I definitely see the benefit of having plus 40 attack speed in the lane, especially in a lane like this where Antoha or Munkushi, neither of these guys can really harass you at the distance you can. I mean, just look at this. Munkushi can't even get close to the creep wave right now.
Yep. That's very true. Munkushi is really struggling now that they've hit the... I mean, they've even gone for the double Light Strike Array points early just for extra stun, which of course benefits because you have so much hitting potential on this lane in general. We still haven't seen what build the Chosen One has gone for. 1-1-1. Actually quite a nice little build in case you... Whatever you want to deviate towards, right? Usually against the Lifestealer you see more points in the passive or even the press hit. But maybe you don't find this lane that easy. A lot of earth for now.
Yeah, and a good job by Antoha here, just making sure that he interrupts the pull. He gets a small pull off himself. The camp wasn't stacked, but honestly he didn't care. Munkushi just needs to get farm, and he's a Lifestealer who can CS under tower pretty easily here. So he's totally fine kind of double stacking the wave. Doesn't really mind too much. If anything, it makes it a bit more difficult for Hellscream and the Chosen One to get their harass on. Not much, though, as Hellscream is showing us.
Yep. Chosen One, 3 stacks of Shadow Poison. That's level 3, huh? That's a huge burst he's going to receive now. Chosen One is going to get the 4 stack relatively easily as well. There he goes. Full hit, press the attack. That's not going to work. Again, doesn't dispel. And now gets banished. Can they deal enough damage with the illusions? Keep stacking the shadow poison, but he's out of mana. Instead, they're going for Hellscream. They go for it. He's slowing him down. Hellscream could fall. But unfortunately, he's just a bit too fast. He went for the extra wind lace, which actually saves him there. And Aincrad even rotates here, hoping to get a counter kill on Andoha, who he's seen as no boots. Avalanche to catch up to him. The toss as well. They hit him with a tree, and it's going to be Andoha who will pay with his life there.
That was wind lace on top of the 2 stacks of Fiery Soul. Again, you normally don't see this. This isn't normally the build on a support Lina. Maybe this is the new normal. I actually kind of like the way that Hellscream is playing this lane again. But normally Linas are not that fast, especially a support Lina. So that was definitely unexpected by Trident Clan. They just weren't expecting Lina to be able to outrun him, and she does it very easily, even getting a kill onto the Tiny. So he's going to return mid lane to go ahead and clear the wagon, make sure he doesn't take too much damage. As top lane, they might look again for Teach. Frazier now with 1 point into the Kraken Shell. Inkswell going to be activated. Maybe looking now for Frazier. Pretty hard countered by that Phantom's Embrace. Super annoying ability for him to contend with. Low attack speed as Teach dodging out a bit of the damage, at least with the blur. Actually, I don't believe you can dodge Starstorm. That'll chase you down no matter what, right?
If you do it, don't you get a second vulnerability blur particularly? That's what I was thinking. I'm not really sure actually. I didn't see him get hit. I thought it was for the auto attacks actually. No.
Nice arrow.
Now you made me doubt it. I don't know actually. I'm pretty sure that you still get the 1 second where you're kind of untouchable, like with smoke, with heat-seeking missiles, for example, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know that, but Starstorm's a bit finicky. Like if you activate Starstorm and then you TP like to your fountain, completely the opposite side of the map of the Morana, but Starstorm selected you for a second hit, it's still gonna find you. You know, Salamena is just OP.
I mean, it is true. Yeah, she does turn. Oh, sorry. Yeah, he's gonna go down. Aincrad, much more effective as Tiny than the Storm. That's another advantage that Tiny does have over the Storm. Even if you don't win the lane, and you can't really push it, your job is not really to push, it's rather to get kills. And this is a pretty easy game to get kills in, right? The Shadow Demon and Marauder, both easy targets. Even Tide can be vulnerable if put out of position with a toss. So you have some nice little rotations Aincrad's doing. Yeah. And he's playing accordingly to this hero.
He's chilling top for a little bit longer. Still has plenty of mana. 2 bottle sips remaining for him. Frazier's a bit of a tough kill, but they may just try for it. He's going to sneak around the tree, solely to the target, though. Leap unavailable thanks to the Phantom's Embrace. The kill going to Teach that time around. Good kills on the Tiny. XN is getting a good amount of farm, and especially experience.
Chosen one, the press attack to keep him alive. He does his best, but there was an infused range up there, I believe, yeah, which actually blocked a big chunk of the shadow poison damage. Smart play to go for the infused range.
Oh, Tiny's
but now, of course,
haste. Yeah. Careful mid.
No, yeah, it's true. They're probably going for the Storm as soon as possible with the smoke. Can they jump onto him? It is nighttime Avalanche. There we go with the toss on top of that. They get the silence off, and that should be the dead XN. They timed that so well with the Inkswell. On point there. Nemiga.
Yeah, really nicely done.
Under attack.
And that's kind of what I was talking about, right? It's really not a problem killing this Storm if you can get that initial stun. In this case, obviously, the smoke and the haste are really helping Aincrad out there quite a bit to get the jump onto the Storm Spirit. You know, if you read the patch notes, maybe you're like, oh, I'm surprised that can happen because you're a bit faster. Not to cast Ball Lightning, but you're faster in Ball Lightning by a little bit. It's like a 10% move speed buff or so at level 1. Which is significant, because you weren't always the fastest there. Soul Eater might be in some trouble. 2 leap charges utilized, though, to dodge the Inkswell. Hellscream will not chase any further. How many... Look at this. How many raindrops do we have right now? I think we have 4 raindrops on the side of Nemiga right now. Yeah, we do. Everyone but the... Wait, yeah, everyone but Aincrad is holding on to raindrops.
I think it's appropriate, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Aincrad is the only one that could actually tank magical damage relatively easily. He's got a really good time for the Blink Dagger, by the way. He's doing really well for himself. The Tread's already done for him. He's got the bottle on top of that. The Ocean Heart's super useful for Tiny early, or he can keep the Fairy Trinket. Both of them actually really nice for him. There's the Ocean Heart. Much better because you're a mid laner. And with when you get an early Blink Dagger, you can start matching the Storm's tempo. And if you can do that around the time the Storm, or before the time the Storm gets the Orchid, which is what it looks like right now, you're going to have a tough time recovering in this game and getting enough space for your Lifestealer to...
He is going, a Lifestealer that is, going for the Maelstrom instead of, sometimes we see the Battle Fury on him, or a Sange, or maybe an Armlet even. Isn't too out of left field here for the Lifestealer, so he's going to be maybe looking to join these fights earlier, but I think by Nemiga, you know, choosing to go for these raindrops, I think they're also willing to fight early on here. To me, that's kind of what it means, you know, making sure that the Storm isn't immediately able to pretty much 100-0 them, as he may be looking to do now, picking up the DD, make that the regeneration rune, an even better rune for Storm at this stage of the game. in his bottle. So regen ready to go. We have Ravage ready to use as well with a maxed Anchor Smash. We actually still haven't booted Kiritich out of the lane. I think now he's going to leave that it's daytime and just start jungling here. Make pretty good progress towards the Battle Fury. One component down, Ring of Health completed. But not doing too poorly. 4K net worth, just 400 behind Munkushi.
In the case of Nemiga, I feel they just want to try to play 4 Protect 1 early. They're very conditioned to try to get kills early as they're doing here because of the Legion Commander duel and the strength of the Tiny. They just want to make sure the PA farms. She's going for Battle Fury. She's not going to participate in early fights at all. In the case of Trident, though, the Maelstrom, it's actually really good for 3 reasons. First of all, it allows you to fight, as you mentioned, relatively early, but also allows you to farm. So that duality is very important. That's the first and second reason. And then the third reason being that Maelstrom oftentimes is like a poor man's MKB when you can't really afford the MKB early or you can't really rush it, because it will proc regardless if your attack hits or not. So against the PA, it's kind of decent to be able to hit her early with the extra Maelstrom damage, even if you don't hit her with the actual attack, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the mixed damage is always nice for a lifestealer in general.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Yeah, activates Rage there. No. Please don't kill me, Tiny. He didn't care. He just threw the tree on top of him. He has the Blink Dagger. That was the reveal, though, I believe, which is not a great reveal.
Yeah, it was. I was about to say, before we went bottom, before they booted Munkushi and took the tower, what I was going to say is that smoke seemed just like a 10 seconds early, because Tiny was about to have Blink. If they have Blink there on Tiny and he's involved in the smoke, I'm pretty sure you've got a very easy dual kill there onto the lifesteal. Even if it gets the Rage off so you can't Laguna him and whatnot, so long as you get the duel, he's going to die no matter what, even after the duel ends. So we'll see, as Anchorid is going to smoke this time with the Blink Dagger. Frazier there protecting a rune here. He's going to pick up that invis. Ravage ready to go here. Has 4 heroes in his sights, using the Ravage now to save the storm, but he's going to be hit now. What a disruption out from Antoha. They don't have enough damage. LSA is going to be dodged by XN as he tips away to safety. As now the duel onto the backline Antoha. The LSA, though, sorry, make that the double Laguna Blade, actually. Thanks to the Soulbind, is going to be able to claim the duel victory as XN trying to punish Ladine for that one. Will be able to zip on over to him and end his life. And it's a 1-for-3 trade, 2 kills for XN. A great Ravage out from Frazier. I'm surprised Nemiga pushed it that far.
Antoha was on point there. That save was so crucial to winning this team fight. And the fact that Lifestealer can join in, of course, with a Javelin early in case the PA joins, because that also pierces evasion. It's really, really useful and kind of crushes the 4 Protect 1 idea by Nemiga. Yes, they have a faster draft if you're playing 4 against 4, but the Lifestealer changes this completely. And that's why Munkushi is joining these early fights. That's why Munkushi is going for this hybrid build where you can both fight and farm at the same time, as opposed to a more greedy build or a full commitment build. It's just very well played by Trident here. It's a good recovery, and since they were fighting near tower, they don't need the Blink Dagger just yet on the Tidehunter, and they can play him in a much more counter-initiated position, right? Sitting near the tower and punishing this aggression by the enemy team.
Yeah, exactly. Very nicely done here. They are trying to contest the stacks here. As Aincred ready to go with the Blink Dagger. Munkushi farming away, along with the Chosen One, who did steal 1 or 2 of those. Kiritich getting jumped now by XN, who has the Orchid, the Blink from Tiny. Connects up with the Avalanche, but doesn't have the vision or the confidence to dive underneath the tower. XN's completely out of mana. 11 wand charges, as we hear now the Demonic Courage onto Lodine. Frazier and Munkushi will just right-click him to death. Down he goes. Kill going to Frazier. And I think XN's going to run home for a refill on the mana.
Okay, 2K late though for Trident. They're looking really, really strong right now, honestly. Yeah. The Orchid's down in the storm, so now the Tiny, like, when you think about power spikes, we always talk about like individual power spikes, but it's important to consider power spikes in the context of the game. In this case, the real Tiny power spike is when he's Blink and the Storm doesn't have Orchid, right? That time where you're just a stronger mid laner by a lot, and you can fight easily. That is now closed. Tiny's still strong, of course, as Blink, but now the Storm can actually do something as well. And since Lifestealer finishes Maelstrom, now going for Sanj, again, the bit of this hybrid build of both fighting and farming, he's going to be capable of joining fights as well, much more confidently. So it's looking good for Trident Clan. However, we're still waiting for the PA to come online, so that's going to kind of shift things away in Nemiga, on Nemiga's side.
Yeah, and speaking of still waiting, I just want to point out that we don't have Battle Fury yet, and this isn't Flame, I'm just pointing this one out, but she did go for the Power Treads and the Orb of Corrosion both, maybe trying to get involved in some of these early scraps. Does have a 50% kill participation rate right now, with sitting at 1 kill and 2 assists. So I wouldn't say it's not working out here, but it is going to push back the Battle Fury timing just a bit here, because it wasn't really like the kill-heavy early game like perhaps Nemiga thought it would be.
Yep, I do agree. I'm not the biggest fan of Aura Corrosion in general on PA. I feel like on heroes like, say, Monkey King, who also goes Battle Fury, is a bit better. Oh, they're going to catch the Mirana, sorry. Easy kill, but XN joins in. That's with the Orchid. He wants to kill the Grimstorm, and I think he should get it with a Soul Burn there.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. That's going to be Lodin dead. XN showing Einkrad what he's all about. Einkrad, he can't deal with it. Poor XN. He's going to end up going down to Demonic Purge. Just one more hit will do the trick. There we go. Demonic Purge finishes him off with a disruption, saving Antoha, so Hellscream can continue to beat him up. Munkushi now sees the Chosen One, has TP immediately, do have a Ravage, they want to cancel it, but instead, they get him with the Electric Vortex, not even having to waste an ultimate. Nemiga kind of loses the plot there for a second. They lose 3 heroes, 2 of which are cores, and very important cores, which should be creating space for the PA, and instead of just dying bottom. Yeah,
I'm surprised that they made that call. I think as soon as Kiritich, who was in position to kind of initiate, you know, at her leisure, decided not to, and immediately TP stopped and continues farming. I think someone wasn't heard maybe loud enough there on the call, because I think the right play there was, oh, our Tiny kind of overextended for this kill. Maybe they have a ward here, you know, let's go ahead and back off, and we'll take our lumps here. But the Chosen One was like 5 seconds late to that fight, you know. If he was there earlier, then maybe they could have made something out of that. But with Tiny mobilized thanks to Demonic Purge, it was a tall ask.
Yep, it's very true. That Demonic Purge was on, I mean, and honestly, Antoha, this position 5 Shadow Demon, I think has worked so well. Especially with it being a hero that we usually see in 4 these days. And Antoha's making it work with very little farm. He has a fluffy hat, that's all he's got, really, and Triangle Boots.
This is a little bit of a dangerous timing for Nemiga, because right now we have a Blink Dagger. Like, we're strong on Nemiga, don't get me wrong. We're down 3k, but like, they need to make use of this, because these Blinks, they're not going to scale past like this. Like, Blink Dagger doesn't really scale, if that makes sense. I guess it scales with your abilities and your team experience overall, because what it does is it helps you punish poor positioning, right? And if we're not able to do that now, when enemies don't have, you know, like a Blink Dagger on Antoha for him to reposition and counter your Blink with a disruption, or like Force Staffs, you know, if we're not able to make use of these Blink Daggers in this crucial period, it feels like maybe instead you should have gone for a different item to help you farm. So Nemiga, they got to make something of this, because they are very quickly, not that quickly, but they are losing control of the game if they continue at this pace.
Yeah, to further that point, the most heroes, the Blink Dagger is better used when you have more map control, because it's easier for you to initiate, it's for you to force fights when you might not be able to, but of course if you're weaker, I mean this kill for example on Doha is quite valuable. That's what the Blink is for, right? Punish someone that's a bit out of position. That's the best use of the Blink when you're losing, but if you stay here, you might get punished. Storm comes in with a Ravage. They want to get the Tiny first, but they have enough damage on to kill him. There's a bunch of stuns. The Storm now in trouble. Storm stops the ball, lighting double Laguna Blade. The Ravage is a bit too late, and yes, they might be able to kill Einkrad, but in exchange, they will lose their own XN. Another great light strike area by Hellscream. Munkushi finally joins the fray. He does have the Rage. He's going to chase after Hellscream. He's been slow. The Go Frenzy annoying Rage, sorry, to give it a bit more speed, and Fraser will end up finishing off Hellscream. However, that was a pretty good initiation for Nemiga. More space created for them, and neither Legion nor PA need to join in, so they can get their own items ready.
Yeah, I think Fraser kind of got caught up with like too good to use syndrome. He was right there with Blink, Ravage ready to go, just pretty much unbothered completely in the trees, and I think he just wanted to save Ravage for a better opportunity. But the question I would pose here to Trident Clan is where are you going to Ravage then, right? Are you going to maybe try and fight Roshan now? I think you have to. Maybe if you can take an early Rosh, but we only have Gush. Do we? Yeah, we do. Okay, then I think we use it here for this fight, to take Roshan, because there's no real tier 1 that you want to push right now, and we have to do something with this. Unfortunately, the Ravage just wasn't. I mean, it kind of sucks, right? Because it was the worst of both. You didn't really get to save the Storm. You still win the fight no matter what. Probably even if you didn't use the Ravage.
Chosen One. Oh, they catch a Storm. It's quite dangerous. Laguna, they have that trigger as well. They perfectly timed it. They even got the dual victory there. Hellscream right at the end. Chosen One, though, has the TP. Another one of those great TPs. And the arrow misses. Soul Leader. I think the Yules probably kind of messed his parallax a bit. Like he kind of got his vision, I don't know, intruded.
That's what I would wager as well here. But a great pick off there from Nemiga. That's going to be a big kill onto XN. He did have the Kaya there, you know, was playing nice and aggressive, but just ends up getting caught by the duel. And this is exactly what I was talking about with these Blink Daggers, right? We need to make plays like this happen. This is why you buy Blink Daggers, to catch the Storm in a bad position like that, right? Storm's pretty much full mana, so I don't think he zipped aggressively on the Chosen One. It was probably the Chosen One choosing to initiate there. It's a level 2 duel victory as well. So 30 bonus damage clocked in for the Chosen One. I think we have more farm on Kiritich, indeed, and nearly completing now the Desolator. Just needs a little bit more here for the Blightstone, and it'll be good to go And Nemiga are starting to cut the net worth lead back down to just about dead even.
And they've been able to properly utilize these blink daggers, get the map control back as well on them, and now they have stats which allows them to fight much better, right? Usually that's why Legions will not choose to go for blink as first item. That's why when the pipe got nerfed, which was Legion's favorite first item, they kind of the hero kind of went away. Now that she finally has Blade Mail, which makes her useful despite her initiation. So, or regardless of her initiation, rather. And even Dezo now on Curtis, so as you mentioned, they can fight now. They're going to kill Doha first. Tiny, can he get it? Yes, they can. But in exchange, they will lose rotation. Support for support at the duel. Catch the storm. This Ravage cannot save him no matter what there. But the PA could be in trouble. Curtis has to blink strike himself to safety, or phantom strike rather, as they stop the Life Dealer for now. Avalanche toss. Life Dealer has been disrupted. He is not going with that just yet. They do stop the Chosen One as well with a nice little arrow. And Curtis stayed a bit too long. Gets killed there by the Tide Hunter and the last Shadow Poison by Doha, who bought that just for that purpose. Kushi could be in trouble against the Avatar combo. There we go. They burst him down. They want to destroy Doha. That's his second life. He doesn't want to die a second time, but he's not going to get a choice in the matter. Nemiga, another great team fight by them, and again, it's just a great duel. Even if they lose their carry, Tiny slowly becoming the true carry this game.
Yeah, I feel like you know, my Seek and Strike's word of wisdom's here after the team. It is Sentry Wards win games,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen. That entire fight happens because we have sentries placed very preemptively. Game. They know that with this tier 1 tower gone, Trident clan are very likely to make aggressive movements using the Moonlight Shadow to try and pull a sneaky one. Aincrad, though, is ready to counter-initiate, finds himself an Invis rune, which allows him to get the vision, and perfectly just executing Antoha there, who can TP to the tier 1 tower, so he's back in the fight quickly after the buyback, but it just didn't really end up making too much of a difference there. Fantastic fight for Nemiga Gaming, as they're going to be able to just about equalize here the net worth lead, and very nicely done.
Yep. And that means that Trident clan now, they have to not only deal with an Nemiga that's kind of even against them, but also a PA that's finally coming online. Of course, you still need the BKB for Kiritich to really join, but that is a pretty happy PA for now, as X said. There we go. They go for the storm every single time, but he does get away in time. Oh, never mind. They actually jumped him. Aincrad with a tree kills him there. Now, of course, the Chosen One to give vision. Now they want to go for Munkushi, who already has the Basher. He gets inside the Morana, and it gets taken away. Little Yule Center to try to get a bit more space for Doha, but unfortunately, the Tiny doesn't really need that space. Just jumps over to him, as poor Fraser also in trouble, stuck in the duel, and dies in the very duel.
Really, really nicely done here. I mean, Nemiga are all of a sudden, like, I mean, what changed, really, is my question. I guess PA got the items. We have a Blade Mail now on the LC, but a beautiful fight for them. Like you said, perfectly jumping onto the storm there. He only lives because he has Illusion Rune, but then he doesn't zip far enough away. And again, you take a look at his mana, and he was hopeful to counter-initiate there.
Yes.
Which I have to wonder if that was the wisest decision, of course, given that you're against a bunch of Blink Daggers, very mobile team here on Nemiga Gaming, but most importantly, because we don't have Ravage, right? If we have Ravage and Nemiga is just funneling themselves into your triangle through this tiny choke point, absolutely stand your ground and choose to fight there, brother. But without that, and because of the proximity of the fight, you end up giving up first Roshan, and now the game is squarely in control here of Nemiga. They now dictate the pace.
You know, in Storm's defense, I think it's a bit difficult to make those plays because you don't actually know they just lost the advantage in the game, right? You've lost a couple of team fights, but we have all the network information. They don't. So it's a bit difficult. They might think they might still be in control. They might think they're still stronger, and that's why he thinks, I can pull this off. You know, we need to get a couple kills, and I can play a bit more aggressively because we're still winning. Whereas Nemiga seems to have understood that balance much better. That they played much more defensively when they're behind, and now they're starting to play much more aggressively and risking it a bit more. So, I mean, PA committed a similar mistake though earlier, right? Because it's kind of difficult when the game is so even.
I mean, I completely agree with you. But it feels like that was maybe the second, third fight in a row where things haven't really been going your way.
Yeah.
So I agree. Like, getting a pace of the game, especially when you're playing with your own camera, you don't have this handy little net worth indicator on the left hand of our screen, pardon me, or even the one next to the scoreboard. Those guys don't have any of it. I agree. It's a difficult thing to try and measure. But Nemiga, they're showing that they have a little bit of better grasp on it at the moment. You know, the Chosen One with maybe a little bit of a silly death down bottom when he didn't really recognize that. But I think now they're in full swing.
Nemiga, they go, Chosen One. I don't think they see Fraser actually. The Moonlight Shadow will cover. He has a Ravage. He could initiate. They do see him. There's the duel. And with the sharp right attack, but Disruption saves him from the duel for now. They're going to kill Fraser, who has the Ravage available. There we go. Ravage murdering the Chosen One. Until has fallen though. In the process, Munkushi still fighting against Aincrad, and Aincrad gets devoured by Munkushi as Hellscream dies to the backlines and going for the easy targets. They're letting the PA go because their targets are the supports, and they're going to accomplish this 4 dead in favor of Trident Clan. Really nice Ravage this time by Fraser.
Yeah, beautifully done. It was a bit of an aggressive move this time around from Nemiga, the Chosen One, thinking, yeah, he's like, I hear you, Seek. I'm really strong. Let's go and solo kill the Tide Hunter with my BKB. And just wasn't really expecting the rest of the team there. Unfortunately as well for them, they're fighting right underneath a ward there for Trident Clan. So yet again, wards win wars, ladies and gentlemen. And Trident Clan are definitely showing us why here. Fantastic Ravage from Fraser. Good target priority as well. Munkushi just jumping straight onto the Tiny, making sure that he can chunk him. What relatively easy task here, given that Tiny's only got, well, 20 armor is not bad, but 0 agi gain does make it a bit difficult.
Exactly.
Careful here, they may stick around a bit too long for a teach with Aegis in hand. Still confident in fighting. Press the attack now, giving a little bit of the magic immunity. Has the duel ready to go here for the Chosen One. Blink Dagger as well, but Kiritich very likely to lose his first life here. Oh, gets the Phantom Strike away, but he will pop the Demonic Purge. Careful though, there is going to be no Grimstrike for another 10 seconds. LSA is not going to connect. Kiritich again getting into LSA to make sure that he's able to jump back to his team, and Trident Clan will not get more than the Aegis.
As the shard for Legion got released, the complaints by the carriers from, hey, my carrier's an active BKB to my Legion didn't BKB me, right? So that's gonna Kiritich exuding the responsibility here as the press the attack keeps saving him here. No BKB just yet on him.
It's back to the days where Omni had repel. You know, Omni, repel me, ping, 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 you know.
My BKB, you back. Okay. Sorry, I was an Omni player too.
We don't get that luxury as supports, do we, to tell our cores what to do. It's usually only works one way or the other.
Yep. They have the BKB on Tiny now, actually pretty big little point of inflection. I'm assuming they're going to wait for Kiritich as well, and then they'll go straight for the smoke play here. It's probably the wisest play, because that means that for at least one team fight, the Ravage is going to be, honestly, almost impossible. 9-second BKB, Fraser either doesn't get bursted in 9 seconds, is really difficult, so like they don't concentrate on him is the only really option that he has, or there's just no Ravage for the fight, and Trident Clan has to somehow retreat.
Yeah, somehow, right? And the Storm can do it, at least in theory. He hasn't really been able to retreat too much from this from fights in this game. 5, 5, and 6 here as they farm up their next wave of neutral items. He is going to have improved survivability here with, of course, notable exception to that duel, which is going to go through the BKB that he's getting delivered freshly now, thanks to his courier. Fraser has the full pipe completed, and I think Assange already on the way, going for the Halberd. Any other big items here? Yeah, Lotus Orb from Mirana is nice, but it's not going to save you from a duel. And in fact, it'll double the damage, so it's double down.
Tiny, they do find the Tide for now. Fraser, ace well. Not quite yet. Munkushi moving up the Solar Crest. Here comes the Storm, trying to find the Grimstroke. Light Strike Array. And the BKB, you're right. The duel though will still catch him, and Storm is down for the count. They have their own BKBs. There's no Ravage here. Munkushi still wants to tank this, and apparently he can't be brought down. Fraser just waiting out these golden BKBs, wants to re-engage, has the Blink Dagger. Light Stealer inside of him, but without the Storm, a bit dangerous. However, a good Ravage can still turn this around for you. Look at Fraser, he's anxious. There's the Ravage. They go for the Chosen One, nick the Lina as well, as they do the same thing with Lodin and Kiritich. They're going for Lodin first, easiest target. Look at the Life Stealer go, unstoppable, this Life Stealer.
Yeah, he is really strong with the AC, the Basher, the Sanja, and the Maelstrom's got a lot of mixed damage here. He's going through the armor relatively quickly. Antoha stuck around a little bit too long, trying to go for the D ward. He's going to go down. Down bottom, they've got their sights set now for Fraser. Aincrad with the blink, unfortunately guesses incorrectly. Still catches him with the avalanche. Buyback out from Antoha now. They can't quite burst through Fraser that quickly. Unfortunately, yet again, no bashes, and the arrow is going to miss out from Soul Eater, unfortunately. As Aincrad with a quick tip onto Antoha, who will return the favor appropriately. Nice Ravage, 5-man Ravage. You don't always see that in professional games.
No,
5-man Ravage.
Right on the edge on both people, right? That's why I didn't see it. I was concentrating on the top part, but I realized everyone just got slightly nicked there by the end of the Ravage. That was very unlucky, by the way. That was, I think, 5 hits, no bash, with a 25% chance. Where's Math's Ice Rock? Where's Math's?
I mean, if it was 16, it was a guaranteed bash.
Yeah, guaranteed. That's because Basher, by the way, in case you guys don't know, is the only item that never got changed to being a pseudo RNG. Basher's true RNG. That's why sometimes you can get 2 bashes in a row. The thing that makes this, well, not in a row, rather, but the thing that makes Basher balanced in that sense is the cooldown it has. That's why they never changed it to pseudo RNG.
Exactly.
So you'll see these kind of like ridiculous moments where you get no patches whatsoever.
Yep.
That's because it's pure RNG.
By the way, our Grimstroke has the Inkswell, just pointing out a couple of key pickups. Anything else that's major here? Kiritichi.
Oh, the Inkswell shard, you mean, right?
Yes, sorry, thank you very much.
Kiritichi
Kiritichi he finally has Inkswell at level 14. He took stats level 1 to 7, which you can do now, by the way, in case you're not playing too much Dota.
Welcome back, Andy Mage.
Welcome back, Andy Mage. We've got enough money now for the Fan of Knives for Kiritichi, and I'm not talking about no knife collection here, or maybe a knife collection he's willing to share with the Tidehunter specifically, being able to break his passive there for 3 seconds.
Important.
Very, very important. Yeah, like you're saying, it even got buffed as I recall, right? A little bit more percentage-based damage now.
It's actually also great against the Lifestealer because it breaks his feast, so he has no more healing.
True. And
Gold Frenzy as well. So honestly, a really good pickup. I think Fan of Knives is actually one of the more OP shards, honestly. Break for 3 seconds for 1,400 gold? Yes, please, right? It's much better than buying Silver Edge.
Yeah, very generous AoE as well. Basically, it works the same way it does in Divinity, if any of y'all do that. But
it works the same way as Warcraft 3, dude. It's literally the same ability.
And in Divinity. Listen, all right, Boomer. You know, I'm trying to relate to the Zoomers here.
PA used to be Maiev, right? The Shadow Warden, okay?
Sure
and
thing,
she had a Fan of Knives ability.
Which pixel was she? Which rectangle was she on the screen?
2003 game. Look at these Zoomers. Go back to your Fortnites.
Yeah, okay. All right. Alright, they're just exchanging towers here as Roshan. It's a fast Rosh. He's already respawned. Unfortunately, I would actually say, fortunately, Couriers no longer get vision in the pit, so Nemiga don't yet know about it. As they are going to lose a tier 2 tower while they look to clean up one of their own. Fortify's going to come through. It's a big wave, though. It's probably still going to be nuked down here by the tower multi-shot.
He bought Dasher before Fan of Knives, by the way.
Okay.
Because she had so much farm, which I think is actually more appropriate, honestly, because... Oh, they are. Lifestealers, they seem scared. Okay, there we go. Now they finally get rid. They have Assault Cuirass, right, so the high ground's quite easy. Soon to be MKB on top of that. So the idea is if you get the shard around the same time as the... I say the MKB comes out, right? The shard of PA at the same time as the MKB come out. With the Basher, it kind of depends on RNG to some degree, but I think the PA might be a bit better at bursting than the Lifestealer. Because she can take away his ridiculous healing. And you don't heal that much against the PA who hasn't gone for too much stats, because you don't have that much HP anyway.
Yeah, and speaking of stats, Hellscream has gone for stats here. It's just plus numbers, but bear with me here. He's not building for the very typical kind of magic damage dealing Lina, like I kind of expected, but this is in line. Remember, this is the guy who took the 2nd level point in Fiery Soul, right? So this is in line with kind of how he's playing it. Going for the Blink Dagger now after the Yule Scepter into the BKB, so looking to be rather a force to be reckoned with here on the Lina. So just that little bit of extra damage.
I would like it to be actually Axe Shard, to be honest, because against the Lifestealer, I think that's very, very useful. And bursting him down is so important in this game. I don't know. I'm okay with this build, but I would like to see the Axe Shard afterwards, as we've seen in the previous game. Let's see, Tiny walks in, wants to defend Roshan against BKB. He's like, oh wait, Roshan's not even close to these guys. Lifestealer takes too long. They do have the soul one here with a double potential duel. They kill Lifestealer first. The duel continues onto the Tidehunter, but he does get the Ravage off right in time. Ninecrad. By it though. The BKB's active. Mokushi, no more damage. You lost the Toho on top of that Fraser. You're fighting against double damage PA. Laguna Blade. Oh, she dives to the air and walks into it. But it's okay. You managed to murder Fraser and now Soul Eater. Only Storm survives. And that's going to be a huge win for Nemiga, taking the Roche for free on top of that.
Yeah, thank you, OS Frog. KD run for Kiritichi.
Yeah, honestly.
Eventually getting that ultra kill for himself. Fantastic fight, Storm. Doing a good job there to hold away the Grimstroke. Right? Oh, very nice. Yeah, that was 2nd Roche, and now we've got Aghanim Shard for Kiritichi, Fan of Knives. And Avo and I are both a fan of this shard. Just have to roll up. He loves it.
Especially Shard here wall. Okay, so Kiritichi now will be able to go for Abyssal Blade fully. It seems like he already has the Vanguard, actually. Oh no, he bought the recipe instead. Okay. Oh no, he has the whole thing. Wow. Yeah, he's got the whole thing. He's bought out for it. He's bought out for it. But, yeah, it's so good against Lifestealer.
Oh, I thought he was going to go right into that Inkswell, but he's going the long way here, cutting an extra wave. Doesn't need to be careful. Grimstroke chasing him down. XN made the decision to actually jump the Grimstroke in that fight after he casted all of his spells. But everyone else is BKB, so there's not really much else the Storm could do. He's kind of at his weakest now. Did go for the Kaya and Sancho. He's deceptively tanky for a Storm Spirit, especially because he does have a little bit of a status resist here. The Avalanche is going to catch him in, and it duel. Okay, Antoha here with the save, but he's on 1 HP when he comes back out. Immediately killed by the Fan of Knives. No dual damage for the Chosen One. Frazier here now as well. Doesn't have Ravage for a whole minute. As Ladine getting a little bit of magic committed out from his friend. Laguna Blade onto the back lines is what I heard. As that's going to be Kiritich now with 2 kills. Antoha, yeah, down he goes. Kiritich picking up the kill on Zayman and Frazier, as well as Munkushi just in a bit of a bad spot. Kiritich with 3 kills as he actually dives the high ground for Soul Leader. Chosen One just taking them for a bit of a walk here with his annoying magic community. The break now onto 2 heroes. Lifesteal's going to jump inside the timer, but he's falling fast there without track and shell. A buyback up on the Mirana. Arrow's going to connect onto the Chosen One. Another look at the blade onto Frazier as Munkushi isn't still able to eat alive the Chosen One. Einkrad though pops his BKB looking to go up the high ground. Abyssal Blade there onto Munkushi. There's going to be the Abba toss now for the burst damage. It's still not enough as Soul Leader now is going to be the target. LSA is going to connect onto him. Down he goes. Einkrad and Hellscream make very quick work of him. That is going to be 1 dieback, 4 dead in exchange for the Chosen One, and still Nemiga holding on to this Aegis.
Yeah, impressive. Do you know what saved him was the shadow I moved of the Legion commander? Couldn't believe it. Or it wasn't Legion who had it. Oh, there was the Grimstroke actually shadow the Legion commander. They had no dust prepared for that because Black would shoot. And the champion build, it works. Once again, you know, genius. They got a Basher and Lifestealer, but they don't want to fight him. They just want to these towers.
They might go now.
Yeah, they do have Abyssal, you're right, but Storm is ready as well. He has to break the backlines, goes for the supports first, and actually Kiritich in trouble. The Basher from the Lifestealer are also impactful. They catch the Storm, double Abyssal. Is that enough damage though? The Impest saves his life. Kiritich now in trouble. Life Strike will stop the Lifestealer. Kiritich has a second life anyway. Disruption, the same for Laguna's Blade damage. They go for the Lina, but has a BKB to get away, and Kiritich just wants to run back home. As everyone retreats, Nemiga will not lose any more heroes here. They're playing such a clean fight, and the lack of lockdown from Trident is starting to hurt them so much.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel for Munkushi. I mean, he's even built completely correctly. Did go and one for the MKB now, but you know, doesn't get pulled into the Abyssal, doesn't get pulled straight into the SNY. You know, goes Maelstrom to farm and fight, goes AC to help push, Sanj Basher for utility, and then finally to be able to actually do damage, holding onto the MKB. I mean, Nemiga, again, I can see now why actually Hellscream decided to go for the Fiery Soul related talents, right? I'm not going to call him. Yeah, now he's actually taking the Fiery Soul talent at 20 here.
Yes.
Because they are lacking just that extra little bit of damage, aren't they, in these fights?
And for pushing as well, quite important. Like, Hellscream was a big reason why they got the tier 4s there without having to commit too much, right?
Yeah, real quick, just a DD rune spawn bottom. Keep your eyes on that.
Okay. OS Frog again. If the PA gets that, it's could be GG. But Nemiga, they know high ground is the most dangerous place for any Dota player.
Yeah, but Nemiga's got a ward here, so they also know that wards win wars.
No, that's true. Nemiga, they're taking the long path. This is the correct path because the smoke will reveal if you just hit the enemy around this area. That's why you're near the high ground to see the smoke reveals. You know they're not there, so you take the longer path to try to go over the back line. And now the tiny smoke reveal. Oh, everyone does. Never mind, it's the duration.
Yeah.
I thought I was like, oh, that's genius play, but I didn't see anyone around. But that was the right way to play, though. That's how you play with a high ground. Even when you're smoked, you gotta respect those stairs every time.
Yeah, Munkushi really close to this 25 talent. I reckon he's gonna go for the rage duration here. I think, just for that extra bit of magic immunity to make sure he's not too bothered here by the Tiny, by the Lina, by the Grimstroke at all. Kiritich is going to go and get that tier 2 tower, continuing to farm up a couple of items. Looks like no one's going to find that DD rune spawning down bottom, so nothing too major here. Aegis is about to be reclaimed, so Kiritich is going to farm up his next salvo of items, that being just the full MKB. He's going to buy out for this one yet again, so no buyback for anyone on the side of Nemiga. What is this, my pubs? No, but they've got a 10k net worth lead. And unlike my pubs, they're playing very nicely together here. Everything just seems to be clicking for them. Trident Clan, though, playing very disciplined as well, holding right underneath their own Observer Ward on the high ground, as Aegis is now going to be reclaimed from Kiritich. I don't think this is going to stop them from fighting, though. But I thought incorrectly, as they will now be retreating into the river.
Yep, they want to hold their ground here, but without, you know, losing too much. This ward gives them so much opportunities. Look at that toss with a duel. That's the perfect initiation. You could have asked for better. Lifestealer screwed. Goodbye, Munkushi. At least he has a buyback though. But they catch Tyler as well. The buyback will come in time. Time's down for the count. As the Mirana also falls. Here comes the Storm with the BKB. There's no duel here to stop him. But they do have a Basher. Hellscream does fall to a static remnant there. And it seems that the counter initiation is ready for Trident Clan. As Einkrad catches XN.
Yeah, that's the ward.
That's the ward. Wards win wars, you're totally right. Duel, up in 6 seconds, Richie. They're gonna go for Munkushi here.
Okay, but now Trident fighting underneath their ward. Which is gonna win? Wards versus Ward. Legion Commander just going right front. So we got the vision. There's the dual damage immediately. And there's another fight on the back lines. Oh no, immediately dead. Oh, the Ravage gonna come up from Frazier. He might as well, because he did buy back to get back into this fight. As XN now zipping on in. Can't find the chosen one though. Eats the bash instead, but it's a short duration here. And thanks to the Sanj, but he's been caught by the silence into the Inkswell and back to the fountain he goes, taking the short trip. Munkushi trying to fight for more here, trying to fight for the rest of his team. Will pick up a second kill, but it looks like he's going to go down and return as Kiritich right back into the fight, getting that little bit of magic committed to the bash, into the Laguna Blade, and that's all 5 heroes down. The disconnect out from Munkushi, and the GG will be dropped as Nemiga, they take game number 1 in the series. A beautiful initiation there from Einkrit to get the toss into the duel to end the game. Nicely done, Nemiga.
Seriously, that was such a nice play towards the end. The patience they demonstrated, not going into that triangle despite the advantage they have with the smoke. The fact that, of course, they were waiting for the toss. That great ward in, you know, it's a relatively new map. You might not check that warding spot when you're checking for the triangle. You're used to the triangle warding spot much closer to your tower, which is what Trident Clan were defending.